Are you ready, Bomber fans? Celebrate Pride Night because you sure as fuck can't celebrate anything else. Experience 4 quarters of nothing to show our championship star power. I hope you like pain. Lose the game by more points than the Edmonton Elks. Shoot yourself so much that Hitler gets jealous.
FBI, open up!
Leave the game early as our team never showed up to begin with. All for the glorious W!
Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another video. Oh boy. Oh boy. I don't even know where to start with this game. This has got to be the worst Winnipeg Blue Bombers game I have seen since before the 2019 year, where we went through the year, did well, and went all the way and got our first Grey Cup in 30 years. This goes back to at least the season before that, possibly even worse than that. This game is abysmal. The Bombers lose by a score of 30-6 and do not score a single touchdown. The Lions ran over the Bombers tonight, and the Lions played at peak performance, and the Bombers did not show up. And there were problems all across the board. There is the number of players that had an actually good game tonight. I can name on one hand, which for football, with how many guys you have on your team, that is sad. That is sad. And man, so if we get into the pregame here, Brady Oliveira is in. This is good to hear because Oliveira was he had not practiced a few times, and he was going to be a game time decision. So it's good to see that he's in. So first quarter starts. When the first quarter starts, I'm actually in the line with a buddy of mine for shawarma. So I wasn't in my seat for that, but I was still able to watch from there. Castillo would hit a field goal, making this 3-0 Bombers. And the Bombers would have a bit of a tribute here to former center Michael Couture. I was actually very pleased that they had done this. I wasn't sure if they would, just because with how many players in the CFL and how much players bounce around, you don't always see it. But he had been here a few years, so it was nice to see that the Bombers are going to do this. There would be a defensive pass interference against us, and I wrote, "Look at the ball, bro." Yeah, the ball was nowhere near there. I don't know what this guy was thinking. He literally jumped right on top of him, right on his head, and we took another defensive pass interference, another bad penalty in the end zone, and the ball would go on the one for BC, and the BC Lions would get their first touchdown of the game.
Oh, he's totally in. Damn it.
Convert is good. 7-3 Lions. There'd be a roughing the passer penalty against BC, be first down Winnipeg. Penalty was reviewed and overturned. No penalty. Go into the second quarter, it'd be back and forth a bit. BC would get a field goal that goes off the post and in. I actually thought this went out, but it's kind of hard with where I was. I was on the exact opposite side of the field, so my depth perception was a little shaky. But 10-3 BC regardless. And then I get really annoyed here. Bennett hits Vernon Adams Jr. way after the whistle. Like a fucking idiot. That's what I wrote, because that's exactly what happened. You don't hit the quarterback after the ball is gone and the play is dead at that spot. You just don't. It's a stupid penalty to take. It's 100% avoidable. And I was getting a bit frustrated with this team. And I would get even more frustrated as the Lions just kept throwing to Lucky Whitehead. Who's covering Lucky? Guys, Dominic Rhymes is out this game. Lucky Whitehead is in. You should know that Whitehead is going to be that number one receiver that Vernon Adams Jr. is looking for. And he was that. And we just didn't cover him. And so the Bombers would finally get possession. They would be a big pass to Carlton Agudosi, thankfully. We would go on first and goal. and we would blow it but settle for a field goal, making this 10-6 BC. We would not score for the rest of this game. And then actually my next message, coverage, yeah. So the Lions just kept throwing the ball at us, and everything we did was so reactionary. We never could get in front of it. We could never get in front and try to knock that down, or maybe look for that interception. It was always wait for him to catch the ball. Once he catches it, tackle him to the ground, and maybe see if you can rip it out of him. But they were holding on to everything. So we just couldn't get anything on them. And BC would go down and get themselves their second touchdown.
Get the catch from Adams.
Lions get their second touchdown. Convert is good, 17-6 for the BC Lions going into halftime. So I'm like, this isn't good. However, we got halftime here. Let's wake up and get back in this. And so third quarter starts. Defense, wake up. We had all of halftime. Guys, what is going on? BC would take an illegal procedure penalty, and there'd be a nice sack by Haba, and there would be a big stop, and we would force the Lions to a field goal, making this 20-6 for the Lions. Now, this was actually a good stop at the end, but again, why do we have to always get all the way back there before we finally we decide that we're going to make that stop? But good to at least hold them to a field goal there. And then we would go on offense, and our drive gets nowhere. Like, seriously, we just couldn't. I'm gonna get, once I go through this game, I'm gonna get into the specifics of it. But we couldn't get anything. Lions would take an offside penalty. Jeff Gray could not resist himself and took a holding penalty, because Jeff Gray has to have a penalty every game, because that is his God-given right. And there would be another holding penalty, and Caleros gets sacked. And at this point, I'm literally like screaming my seat, like, wake up, guys. We are just going through the motions. This is pathetic to watch. This is pathetic. BC gets a field goal, 23-6. Lions. It's going into the fourth quarter. This is supposed to be our quarter. This is where we have to turn it around now. We would go. Lions would punt. And on punt return, O'Leary Orange would get an illegal block, so any ground that Janarian Grant gets is meaningless. I get so frustrated, because these are plays that are avoidable, and just smarten up, guys. We were so undisciplined this game, and I was just super, super frustrated as a fan, because I expect better, because I've seen better. Is what it is, though. Lions would go 2-and-out, and the defense finally actually starts getting a little bit of something. We go on offense, though. There'd be a throw to Nick Dembski, and instead of catching the ball, he sets it like volleyball sets the ball into the air, and the Lions pick it up. And I just wrote, fuck. I was livid. And the Lions would get themselves another touchdown. The convert would be good. 30-6 Lions. Wake up. There would be a great return by Grant. And then our quarterback got ran over. Caleros got sacked 7 times this game. Protect your QB, you bums. Yoshi Harder gets a procedure penalty, and there'd be a turnover on downs. Just fuck this game.
You get a penalty right after.
Yep. Oh, here we go. Yep.
Experience Winnipeg sports.
BC takes
Like and subscribe.
So that's it. Where do we go? What a mess of a game. Where do we go? The answer is this is the wake-up check. This is the wake-up call. We are not invincible. And BC, they were running routes against us. This game was embarrassing. Embarrassing. And honestly, like, I'm not going to name names. There are some guys in this game that should be ashamed of their performances here. And I'm not ripping into this team and saying that all these players suck and they're not capable of anything. The reason I'm ripping into this team is because this team is so damn good. They're so good. There's so much talent just oozing out of this team. I love this team. And so this video is not me bashing this team because I genuinely hate this team. I don't. I love this team. I love the players that we have. I think that we have a championship roster. I know we have a championship roster. We've won championships with these guys, and we absolutely can do it again. I'm simply frustrated because I know what we're capable of, and tonight was not even close to what we're capable of. And so this is one of those things where hopefully this is the wake-up call, because honestly, I'd rather have this happen now than have this happen in the playoffs, because you kind of get that worry when you go through like an undefeated like season thing that the wake-up call is going to happen at the most inopportune time. So I guess I'm glad this is happening now, but we're not the number one team in the West right now. BC is. The Lions are. Like, the Lions are number one team in the West right now. And the only people we can blame are ourselves. And the Lions play an excellent game tonight. They absolutely do. They play really, really well offensively. And more important than anything, they are shut down defensively. They gave us nothing. They didn't give us an inch. This entire game was the Bombers trying to figure the Lions out. If you're trying to figure your opponent out and your opponent is running circles around you, you've already lost. We have to make an impact at the start of the game. We got to punch through, and we need to have a lead. We're up 3-0. We're up by a field goal. That's nothing. We need touchdowns. There's no excuse for going through an entire, I don't care what the score is, for going through an entire game and not getting a touchdown. With this team, there's no justification for that. None. I was not happy with the offensive line tonight. I was not happy. I don't think the receiving core was terrible, but they never really did themselves to put themselves in a fantastic position to make that catch. BC's coverage was great, but we have the best receiving core in the CFL. You should be able to break off a few guys here and there and get yourselves really nice and open. Zach Caleros he was not great, but honestly, two things. Number one, his O-line was just exploding right in front of him. And secondly, but at the same time, Zach Caleros is known for being the best scrambling quarterback in the CFL. And he couldn't scramble tonight. He got, and BC had his number. And it's just he couldn't seem to get away from it. So, Zach, I expect a little bit more on the scrambling side of things, and I'm sure that he does too. And that's the thing. I'm sure that there's a lot of these players that when they got back to the dressing room, they're like, "Man, this was not good, and I need to fix this." And the real test is going to be next week. Has this team fixed it? Have they moved on? But moved on? Like, when I say moved on, I mean, we're not going to forget that this happened. We're going to learn from it. And we're going to be ready when we go into Montreal and we play the Alouettes. The Alouettes caused us a little bit of problems last year. They were able to pick up a win against us. Either 1 or 2 wins, actually. I can't exactly remember. But, they came into our house. They came at home in Winnipeg, and they got a win against us at home. So I think it's time that we, at bare minimum, get that win in Montreal. And so this is a game where I'm still very frustrated about it. Still very frustrated about the outcome. I'm more so the outcome of effort than the outcome of the score is just. I expect more. And I think we will see more. I had a bit of fun with the pre-intro in this video. It was a bit over the top, but that was kind of the point. It was meant to just be kind of a bit of a funny joke here and there. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. But make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you guys subscribe to CFL Central if you haven't already. They got league-wide CFL coverage. I do that there, and it's a fun time over there. You get to see our weekly previews and reviews and our predictions that we have for each of the matchups. And I'm sure Rick is going to have a fun time talking with me about this game. But who knows? Maybe I'll have a fun time talking about how the Ticats got a 3rd loss in a row. Who knows? But yeah, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out some of our other content, and I will see you guys next time.